Hello and welcome to PVTV. At the Stock Island Detention Center in Monroe County, Florida, officer and curator Jenny Sealander had never worked anywhere but before she came to save its zoo. Sealander knew about animals and their habitats. The zoo had formed in 1994 when a deputy noticed a group of ducks occasionally losing one of their flock to a passing car. A group from the detention center rounded the ducks up and placed them in a new home. That new home is an empty space underneath the detention center, where columns raised the building off ground. Word went out that the detention center was taking animals, and then more and more people began to leave animals there. More than a decade later, the zoo has 150 animals, including a sloth, lemur, a cockatoos, snakes, and lizards, rabbits, ducks, geese, pigs, miniature horse, birds, and so much more. Most of the inmates work hard to take care of the animals every day. Children and adults in the area come to interact with the animals, and over the past decade, the crowds that come have increased 30-fold. Couples typically don't have to deal with kids until after their marriage, but Jennifer Lay's classroom of first graders provided the most adorable reason to engage. To pop the big question to his girlfriend, Samuel Nambanian recruited her own students behind her back at the Global Educational Academy in Los Angeles. While Jennifer was out of the classroom chatting with another teacher, Samuel and her sister Jessica snuck in to explain the situation to Tots. When the teacher returned and noticed all 20 of her students acting unusually quiet, she knew something was up. They asked her to sit down and watch a special movie, a remake of Jennifer and Sam's relationship featuring everything from the clothes they wore on the first date to memorial conversations. The U.S. Navy rescued 3 men after spotting their message on a beach spelling out "Help" with palm leaves on the uninhabited island of Fonadike. The April 7th rescue came there days after the trio's 19-foot skiff capsized after setting out to sea from Palop. The Navy used a P-8A aircraft to operate out of Japan to respond to the call for assistance from the U.S. Coast Guard. A small boat was then sent from the Palop to recover the men. The sailors reported their vessel was capsized by a large wave on April 4th. Fortunately, they had life reserves and spent the night swimming safely to Fonadike Island and about 4 miles from Palop. David the Beast Douglas is a very strong guy in more ways than one, but he says his best friend, Lindsay Recliffe, is even stronger. Lindsay suffers from a rare genetic disorder known as progeria. It's a disease that causes children to age 8 to 10 times faster than normal and leaves them with an average lifespan of 13 years. However, according to Douglas, one would never think that Lindsay, already 12 years old, is struggling because she's always smiling. Douglas, a motivational speaker, weightlifter, and former Marine, has found inspiration in the little trooper he calls his little sis. The unlikely pair met at Relentless, a weightlifting fundraiser for children with rare diseases, and the two have been best friends ever since. It's not often you hear good things about a toddler who knows how to use mom or dad's smart device. One study suggests the technology can negatively affect childhood brain development. But 4-year-old Camden Bogdan has proven that a basic understanding of how smartphones work is not only beneficial, it's potentially life-saving. USA Today recently shared the heartwarming story of how Camden unlocked his mother's smartphone to call his father, Dr. Jeremy Bogdan. After finding his mother passed out on the floor, upon unlocking the phone, he found his father's number and said, "Daddy, I need you to come home. Mommy can't get into the bath because she can't wake up." To which Dr. Bogdan replied, "I'm on my way." Camden's mother, Missy Bogdan, was taken to the Methodist Charlton Medical Center in Dallas, where her physicians, Dr. Osama Mamar, declared she had a seizure. I guess it looks like Camden saved her life without knowing it. This Florida hockey arena never produced a louder roar than when a fan was given the chance to win $100,000 and hit the most perfect shot you can imagine. Orlando Solar Bears season ticket holder Nick Giovanni was selected as the finalist to shoot for the cash prize at Thursday night's game against the Florida Everblades. From the blue line, a 150-foot distance, Giovanni needed to slide the puck through a hole barely larger than the puck itself. When the slow-moving puck finally slipped through the goal, the crowd went wild, cheering the good fortune of the St. Cloud, Florida man. The frenzy continued later in the night when the Solar Bears won the final regular season home game in a similar exciting fashion, scoring a winning goal with just half a second left in overtime. As the world seeks to reduce carbon emission, the aviation field is making major advancements. A new research facility the size of 4 football fields is using resources abundant in the desert to grow super plants for the production of renewable jet fuel. The facility near the Abu Dhabi airport in the United Arab Emirates is a result of a Gulf region partnership between Boeing, Etihad Airways, Mustar Institute of Science and Technologies, and UAE jet fuel company Takrari. Seawater and sand, which most people consider a weakness when investigating bioenergy, turn out to be our strength, said Dr. Alejandro Rios, the director of the Sustainable Bioenergy Research Consortium, who is leading the research at Mustar Institute. The secret to the experimental seawater energy and agriculture system, or SEAS, is the Salicornia plant. Salicornia is a salt-tolerant halophyte with a unique internal mechanism that allows it to grow in seawater. Its seeds contain plant oils that can be turned into jet fuel. The plants can also produce biofuel more efficiently than other well-known feedstocks. The expansive research site includes a food production component to nourish the plants through the use of aquaculture. The shrimp and fish waste provides fertilizer at the same time as the creatures are cleaning the seawater and air as they grow. The goal is to replicate this type of facility in similar regions with arid climates and saltwater resources. Now, to Austin Rutledge for a very heartwarming story.
Uluru, a sandstone monolith centered in the middle of Australia's Northern Territory, is sometimes referred to as the heart of Australia. A British artist by the name of Bruce Monroe first saw Uluru in 1993. Whereas most visitors were enchanted by the natural beauty of the site, Monroe instead got something else from Uluru. He got the idea to cover the field with lights. 50,000 lights to be exact. Monroe has been testing this idea on a smaller scale in places like the Atlanta Botanical Garden and St. Andrew Square in Edinburgh. It took 9 months of preparation to ship all the lights to the desert, but before Monroe and the 40 people working with him could begin to install it, Monroe had to get permission from the local Anagu people, for whom Uluru is sacred ground. The Anagu agreed and dubbed the piece Looking at Many Beautiful Lights in their native language. The project is off the grid, getting all the power it requires from 36 solar panels, which power 144 projectors, which, in turn, transmit light to fiber optic cables. A low-wattage LED projector was used, in Monroe's words, because it's not a spectral color, it's more of a pulse of color, a pulse of light. The piece is lit for several hours twice a day, once just before sunrise and once after the sun sets. Not content with only saving people from burning buildings, this Pakistani firefighter has also spent decades saving children from illiteracy by teaching thousands to read, write, and do math. Every workday for 30 years, Muhammad Ayyub has left his job at an Islamabad fire department and set up a classroom in a city park. It started when he first moved to the area and was looking for a hobby. He noticed a little boy washing cars and asked him why he wasn't in school. When the boy explained his parents couldn't afford to send him and he needed to help earn money for the family, Ayyub found his calling. He began teaching the boy, who brought along a friend the next day. By the end of that first week, Ayyub was teaching 50 kids in the park. Thousands of kids from the surrounding slums, who had bleak futures before Ayyub's school, have gone on to higher education, vocational training, or landed decent jobs because of it. Ayyub is nearing retirement from the fire department and planning to make the school his full-time job. Abigail Shrimp was beyond elated with the turnout of her first annual Autism Awareness 5K walk. Shrimp has decided to plan, organize, and see through a 5K walk/run to raise awareness of autism that came to fruition Sunday afternoon. Over 130 people showed up to participate in the event, as well as over 25 volunteers to help Shrimp bring her dream to reality. Last July, Shrimp began the voyage of creating an event to achieve her goal of earning her Girl Scout Gold Award. Last Friday, Shrimp received an email stating that she had been chosen to accept the Girl Scout Gold Award. But she had no idea the event would grow to what it did, as well as having several individuals volunteer to help with future autism awareness races. This dedicated bomb-stuffy dog is finally getting the recognition she deserves. A 12-year-old German Shepherd named Luca has spent the last 6 years protecting Marines by smelling out explosives overseas. Not a single soldier ever died on her watch. On what would be her last mission in Afghanistan, Luca discovered a 30-pound homemade bomb, and while she was sniffing for others, its detonation robbed her of her front leg. Corporal Han Rodriguez felt so much gratitude towards the pooch for the number of lives Luca saved that he vowed not to leave her side at the hospital during her recovery. Luca is the first U.S. Marine Corps dog to be awarded the Dickin Medal, the animal version of the Victoria Cross, in honor of courage and bravery. Love may be able to conquer all, but having a PhD in biology certainly helps in this case. Just after she married the love of her life 5 years ago, Sonia Valaby received a dire prognosis from doctors about their future together. Sonia has a severe genetic mutation known as genetic prion disease. The illness has no known cure, and given the severity of the condition, the newlywed was told she would only be able to live with her husband Eric Minkel for another 20 years or so. Taking matters into their own hands, Aaron and Sonia decided that if no one else was going to find a cure, they would have to do it themselves. After taking night classes in biology, the duo quit their jobs when they were accepted into the PhD program at Harvard. The two are now researchers at the Broad Institute in Cambridge, Massachusetts, working side by side towards a cure and a longer future together. If there were one thing that St. Vincent baseball coach Tyler Search wanted from his team on Saturday, it was a quick start. His team listened and beat the crosstown rival Perryville Pirates 10-3. That's something we wanted to do, Search said. To get off to a fast start was good to see and come out the gate swinging the bat well. The Indians got a trio of RBI doubles from Jordan Relchert, Tyler Bonnier, and Blake Hellerman to jumpstart a 5-run first inning to put the Pirates behind the 8 ball from the very beginning. Pirates coach Jeff Steffen said the Indians' hits were finding the holes that contributed to the big inning. The pitches were left up to the zone and they hit that ball hard. It wasn't like they were hitting to us and we were missing it. You gotta give them credit. Vandy Cruz, the owner of Mr. Bubbles Laundromat in Queens, New York, spent every night for a week washing 1,000 pounds of clothes for homeless families, saving 75 families roughly around $5,000. De Cruz is a former social worker that saw the challenges that homeless people can face and realized his new business can offer immediate help for those that need it. As an Easter gift to the community, he decided to pick up laundry from a shelter each evening that week that he would wash and dry and fold overnight, returning it by 7 the next morning. He figured he saved the families money, gave them clean clothes, and gave them free time to find a job or go to classes or even look for a permanent home. Because of declining enrollment at the University of Missouri, 2 more dorms on the campus will be closed. KNBC TV cites that a decrease in the number of students needing housing on the campus means that they no longer have to offer space at the Respect or Excellence resident halls. Even though they are being closed, the university has stated that they will reopen them if there is a demand later. In March, it was announced that they would be closing 2 residence halls for demolition because of the declining enrollment. The 2 dormitories opened in 2004 and housed more than 300 students. The Walt Disney Company urged an academic journal to withdraw a nutritional study at children's meals at Disney World last fall that it had funded amid a public backlash over corporate involvement in scientific research. Disney wasn't concerned about the study's findings, but they had feared being publicly associated with one of its main authors, James Hill of the University of Colorado School of Medicine. Hill's work last summer drew an outcry among people who felt his project, funded by Coca-Cola, showed the impact of sugary drinks and obesity. There are now more people on Earth that are overweight than underweight. Hill had emailed Disney about an editor at the journal who had advised him that they risked some real negative feedback from it if Disney was even trying to influence the study. Disney still wanted the study pulled from the journal. When the time came and it was accepted into it, Disney spokesperson David Jefferson had said, "Given the recent issues regarding Dr. Hill and the university, we question the wisdom of publishing the study." One of the lead authors of the study, John Peters, also a professor at the University of Colorado School of Medicine, said in an interview that the study was a legitimate subject of research, adding that no one had yet examined whether Disney's approach was effective in providing families with healthier meals. Asked about Disney's attempt to withdraw the study, he said the company had never sponsored any research before, and they were not really familiar with the rules of doing so. In Kansas, farming may turn out to be the bridge that allows people from another country to integrate into American society. Refugees from countries such as Bhutan, Myanmar, Sudan, and Somalia are students at a program called New Roots for Refugees, which aims to teach the refugees how to farm in Kansas. The program is a joint effort between Catholic Charities and Cultivate Kansas City. The people who have fled their countries are happy to be away from the trouble, but they struggle with adapting to life in a new country with different customs and a different language. Many of the refugees still struggle economically. So the New Roots program aims to teach refugees more than just farming. Sam Davis, a site manager at the farm where the program is taught, not only teaches refugees how to farm, but also how to manage a small business and how to navigate other obstacles of integrating into American society. Mr. Davis says he can understand feeling out of place. His family moved to Kansas from Arkansas about 60 years ago. Fitting in was hard for Davis because he spoke a different dialect. It's one way he relates to the refugees. Davis says New Roots benefits more people than just the farmers. The refugees get to keep doing what they were doing in their old countries, while the growth of their farm helps the community grow economically. Creating that sense of community, of establishing new roots, is another goal of the program. That's all the time we have today. See you next time right here at PVTV.